Hey everyone, Insane Frame here with another challenge video. In the last video we attempted a brutal challenge to beat a game called Punch Club without attacking. That was very difficult, so I thought we'd visit one of my all-time favourite games to do a absolutely fun challenge. Can we beat Fallout New Vegas with a Power Fist? Let's quickly go over the rules. We may only use a Power Fist as our only weapon. We'll be playing on normal difficulty, no glitches or exploits, and no mods or anything to alter the game's files. So with that out the way, let's get started. For those of you that don't know what Fallout is, it's a world set in the post-apocalyptic future where during the 1950s a nuclear war started, and once the bombs dropped, people headed into these underground bunkers called vaults. When the people emerged from the vaults, the world was a bitter wasteland and they began setting up a civilization in a dystopian Fallout. That's the simplified version anyway. So, before we get started, we are playing as a character called the Courier, who's been shot in the head by another character who we'll get to later on. But we wake up to a man named Doc Mitchell. He is a older, more civilized sort compared to a lot of people out there. And he goes ahead and asks some questions and let us decide a lot about our character. I cannot stress this enough, but this part of the game is actually extremely important as it will decide our playstyle in a big way. Now let's go ahead and explain our stats. If you haven't played any of the Fallout games, 0 is bad and 10 is the best. So our stats are pretty wild because we have 10 in not only one stat, but in 3. We have a 10 in strength, endurance, and luck. The Power Fist is an unarmed weapon, meaning endurance is how we'll deal damage with it. But strength lets us up our melee skills, which we'll need for some perks later on. I'll explain perks in a moment, but we won't need any perception or charisma, so they are very low. But intelligence and agility are also important. Agility lets us use special attacks, and intelligence is extremely useful and lets us gain more skill points as we level up. Speaking of skills, we then get to tag 3 skills. Think of this as the bread and butter of the game. If you're unsure of all the numbers, don't worry, all you need to know is 0 is terrible and 100 is the elite of the elite. When we tag a skill, it increases the number of the skill points by 15, which is pretty substantial. It's also the game's way of saying you can be a jack of all trades by being better at what you are not good at, or you can specialise and be better at what you're already good at. Anyway, we go ahead and select the unarmed to hit harder, speech as the game opens a lot more with speech, and repair so we can keep on top of our equipment. Now lastly is our traits. Traits are completely optional and are not required, but they're best described as flavour to your playstyle by using trade-offs. Some are more beneficial than others, but since we're going to be punching people, we go for heavy-handed, which is more base damage but less critical chance, which sounds amazing. Next we go for skilled, which will give +5 to every single skill, but give us a permanently minus 10% XP gain. Whilst not having a huge downside, it will help in giving us a head start, and we're going to need all the help we can get in this game. We leave Doc Mitchell's house and we have our first obstacle, which is getting a Power Fist to begin with. Without one, we will have no way of doing any damage without breaking the rules, and that's just simply not happening. So we head over through Scorpion Valley and run for our life without attacking anything, and eventually come to a place called Novak. We go inside this giant dinosaur and steal our starting items and get ourselves a Power Fist. That is absolutely brilliant. We head back to Prim since we can fast travel now, and we speak to Trudy, who owns the bar. She has a man named Joe Cobb who's up in her face, who's with a gang called the Powder Gangers. Powder Gangers are a chain gang who were raised for mining. They decide to give them dynamite for whatever reason, so they manage to break free. They're low-level enemies, but still enemies nonetheless. And we level up and get intense training. Intense training allows us to raise one of our stat points by 1, so we're going to go for intelligence, allowing us to get more skill points over the long term. Trudy says Joe Cobb is trying to find a man named Ringo and wants him for one reason or another, so we're pointed in his direction, and we offer our assistance. We talk to Sunny Smiles, and with minimal preparation we begin the showdown with the Powder Gangers. With our Power Fist, we easily overpower the enemies and destroy them with hydraulic punches, no problem. And my god, do I love hydraulic punching people. Upon completing Good Springs, we head down to Prim, the next village along, that has a giant roller coaster outside, so you really can't miss it. We also level up to level 3 and up our stats, and we speak to the first NCR commander we come across in the game. By the way, the NCR stands for the New Californian Republic. They're the closest thing to a functional army in New Vegas, so Lieutenant Haynes, who's undermanned, minimal supplies, and has basically nothing in this outpost, says that he needs a bill of law installed around here. So with that, we head into the casino, talk to John Nash, and he updates our quest and the job about the Platinum chip. We also hear about a deputy who's been captured and being held up in the hotel. Naturally, we enter the hotel and see the first two people and enter VATS. For those of you who don't know, VATS stands for Vault Assisted Targeting System. It's basically a fancy way of saying it's a special aim assist. Once activated in Fallout New Vegas, it stops time and lets you spend action points. Action points are displayed in the bottom right of the screen. The amount of action points, or AP for short, is determined by your agility stat, and AP regenerates on its own over time. But these attacks in VATS deal more damage, have a higher chance of a critical hit, and also damage your opponents in various ways, such as crippling limbs to limit them in combat, or even knocking them to the floor. We eventually meet Deputy Beagle and set him free, and as we explore the hotel, he dies. Okay, this has never happened to me before, so we loot him and listen to his holotape. We're told then to head to Nipton, but we sell off at an NCR outpost and do a couple of quests that point us to Nipton anyway, so we might as well get these quests done whilst we push on with the main story. We get to Nipton and talk to a guy called Boxcars who thinks we're the powder ganger Grim Reaper, cheers man, and explains the Legion's lottery. It doesn't take long before the Legion is standing right in front of us, very ominously outside the town hall. They start talking like cultists and madmen in the bad sense, so we use our POWERFIST to box them into oblivion. We explore the town hall and, well, I'll spare the gruesome details, but the Legion don't really play nice. We head back to the NCR outpost and hand in a couple of quests, and we hit level 6. We choose the Educator perk, meaning we get more skill points in the future. Our next main quest is we're going to head to Novak. Since we got the POWERFIST from there, we can just fast travel there, which is brilliant. We also take the time to upgrade our POWERFIST by using a weapon mod. This will increase the damage done with it by +8. This will help us massively in the mid-game, and we also meet Ranger Andy and pass a speech test to get a new unarmed special move, which lets us paralyse our targets with backward power attacks. This is absolutely invaluable, and thank you Ranger Andy, you are a real lifesaver, literally. We continue with the main storyline and go to where all the ghouls are coming from. It's a test site like Manny said, and it's overrun by ghouls. Our new power attack absolutely wrecks the ghouls. We eventually make our way through and climb up the stairs inside the building, come to an intercom system. We find a man named Henry who sends us to a ghoul called Jason Bright. It's a bright ghoul. Think of him as an intelligent zombie, but he's a ghoul equivalent. Jason says we need to silence the demons, so okay, we go down to the basement with our upgraded POWERFIST and have a hilarious moment where Nightkin literally makes me scream like a child. Okay, we're all good. And oh my god, flipping hell! And upon reaching the cellar, we find a female ghoul. Call me sadistic, but we carry our body through the tunnels and look, it's for a quest, don't worry about it. We meet Harland, who's kind of a badass, and we bring him his deceased partner. We then kill the Night King leader, Davidson, and report back to Jason, who praises us. We meet Jason in the basement, and he says we have to work with Henry getting the rockets up and running. Upon quickly getting the pieces, we get to Henry, and we see the ghouls in ridiculous space outfits. Henry unfortunately takes it badly, but due to our speech, we manage to convince him to go back to Novak and put his engineering skills to good use and help the people out. We get a front row seat for the launch, and it's epically yet hilarious, the perfect way to describe Fallout. We hit level 10, and due to our strength and putting skills in melee, we unlock Super Slam, so we have an increased chance of stunning someone and make them drop to the floor. This is extremely useful and a very, very powerful perk. Upon heading back to Novak, we speak to Manny. He says our killer has headed to Boulder City for some reason, so that's where we'll go, I guess. On our way to Boulder City, the Legion send an assassination squad to target us, but due to our upgraded POWERFIST, they prove no trouble at all and give us some really decent items, so thanks guys, XP and caps, what more could one ask for? We make a stop to Trading Post 188 and we buy some combat armor, some very good mid-game armor, which is fairly pricey, but that won't be a problem for us soon. Once we arrive at Boulder City, we speak to a lieutenant and he asks us to free some hostages from the Great Khans, who are a raider gang. Needless to say, we hydraulic punch them into oblivion without a second thought and hit level 11. We travel further into New Vegas and find the caravan camp, but right next door is the New Vegas Clinic. This place is very powerful because you can buy implants, and what implants do is raise your base stats by +1 for a price. However, if you're already at a max stat of level 10, you can't have an implant in that respective stat. And you need endurance to be able to allow implants to be slotted in. But we go for the intelligence implant, boosting our intelligence by 1, making a total of 7, which is not bad at all, and will certainly be back in the future. We do a few side quests with the NCR under Colonel Hugh, and we even get to beat a prisoner for the person in charge of the brig. Anyway, since we're in good standing, we get a ranger key to a ranger safe house. This is huge and a massive game changer. We arrive at that safe house in this cool cave-like shack, and we go inside to find the armor everyone knows and everyone loves from the front cover of the game, the Ranger armor. Thank you, Colonel Hugh. You are awesome, and you too, Ranger Andy. We also get enough caps for an implant, and we go for agility this time. Combine that with intense training, and we now have 5 agility, which is very, very good, and we don't have to worry about our AP anymore. We also head back to a trade post and pass a guns check with the gun runners and purchase our 2nd and 3rd upgrade. With all this preparation, we're finally ready to confront Benny. We get to the entrance of the strip and easily pass a one-time credit check of 2,000 caps. Victor informs us Mr. House is waiting, and we ignore him. Sorry, Victor. But we carry on towards the top to where Benny is. The greeter asks for our weapons, and we agree as this makes us unable to attack, but we still keep our armor. So we're not in too rough shape, but we're pretty vulnerable. Anyway, we meet Benny. He recognises us somehow for our ranger helmet. We demand the chip. He says no, so he suggests we go to his suite. We simply don't and walk straight back out. Upon exiting, we get our weapons back, and we get approached by 2 envoys, one from the Legion, one from the NCR, respectively. Okay, whilst I grind and gamble in the background for caps, I'll explain what's happening at this point in the game. At this point in the game, we get to pick a faction to side with, and my personal favourite is Yes Man, who we haven't met yet. But on this run, I'm feeling pro-NCR and aligning with them, so let's go and help the military guys. Anyway, with our funds we got from the casino, we buy 2 advanced implants, and we now have passive healing and gain far more defense. And we buy the rest of our basic implants, so we're pretty much ready for anything. We go to Benny once more, and he's nowhere to be seen, and honestly, I'll confess I've always killed Benny on sight, so this is kind of new for me. Anyway, we look in his room for any clues on his whereabouts until we run into Yes Man. A strange yet somehow pleasant robot who's programmed not to be able to say no. Anyway, we figure Benny's plan out. He wants to use the Platinum chip to control New Vegas and make it an independent state by eliminating Mr. House and uploading its contents. So we kind of need to get that back ASAP. Anyway, first things first though, we side with the NCR in the main storyline by approaching their embassy on the New Vegas Strip. And we talk to their ambassador, Dennis Crocker. He says we need to ally with the Boomers, probably the coolest faction for one reason you'll see in the future. But we need to get the chip pronto from Benny, so let's go find him. We get to Cottonwood Cove, a port run by the Legion. It's the only way to get to the fortress at this point. And since the courier approached us on the strip by the Legion, we have the mark, meaning they don't see us as a threat at this point. We head towards the docks, take a boat, and whilst in the Legion base, we need to give up our weapons. That is no problem, but we do have to be careful. We then come face to face with their leader, Caesar. He's trying to force us under his thumb by getting us to use the chip. We'll agree to help for now, but his right-hand man, Lucius, in the camp is of the reasonable sort. And he teaches us a special forward power attack. By passing an arm test of 50, we now have a awesome forward power attack that can paralyze people on the ground. So this is absolutely huge and is a dramatic improvement. So I guess the enemy of my enemy is my friend in this case. We do as Caesar says and go to the weather station, and we get given our weapons back. But it's time to get to work. We use the Platinum chip and surprisingly meet Mr. House on a small yet fancy monitor. We'll agree to work for him for now. Now you've all heard about Mr. House and seen him briefly. I'll explain who he is, but it will require a lot of time to explain in full. But the simple version of it is he's basically the proprietor of the New Vegas Strip and uses the robots or Securitons to enforce his demands. If people don't play ball, he pretty much just destroys them with his army of Securitrons. Anyway, we get to the end of the bunker and approach the Securiton operations console and use the plan and chip to upgrade Securitons in there. We then talk to Caesar and he lets us decide how Benny dies. There's only one way we can kill him while still obeying the playthrough rules, and that is to crucify him. And let's be honest, it's hilarious, and Benny ends up in this horrible situation because it's Benny. Caesar then wants us to kill Mr. House, which is a bold request to say the least, but we got what we came for and killed Benny and got the platinum chip. Now it's off to help the Boomers, and the Boomers, as the name suggests, are a Vault-Tec group with lots of explosives and flamethrowers, machine guns, etc. And they dream of one day being able to fly and drop explosives on people. We make it through the gauntlet of actually getting to the gate where they're shooting artillery barrages at us, and our timing is perfect. We then meet Pearl, the leader of the Boomers, who's actually very reasonable and a decent person in the Wastelands. She makes a request we help her people out as they're nervous about the outside world and need a more subtle hand in dealing with tedious chores. We gladly agree and help by clearing, repairing and getting a small power plant back online for the Boomers. And then we head to the museum for the tour from a kid. I personally find it very interesting, and it's cool as heck as it explains the history of the Boomers. After proving ourselves, we are asked to help Loyal, a veteran engineer who's getting on in years, but he's got an awesome plan to restore a bomber. So as the outsider, we have to go get the bomber at the bottom of the lake. We could get a rebreather, but we decide to soldier and hold our breath underwater and attach some buoyancy aids under the wings of the bomber. We go to shore and the bomber surfaces in all its glory. We return to Loyal, who says the robots will dismantle the bomber. I'm not quite sure how that's going to be done, being the bomber's in water, but knowing Loyal's genius, he's already got a plan. Anywho, we return to Pearl and she's happy with us, so we ask about assistance at Hoover Dam when the battle ensues. She agrees and the Boomers are now allied with the NCR. Excellent. You guys are awesome. We find the ambassador and tell him we made new friends with the Boomers, and then we're tasked with assassinating someone. A power fist isn't exactly a subtle weapon, so perhaps a peaceful outcome is better. We talk to the king, he's not budging, so we're sent to one of two colonels. And James Hugh is more level-headed, so we go to him and he offers to give the kings more power and water. So we go back to the kings and the NCR have barged in en masse. Pacer makes a stand and we hydraulic fist him in the face and tell the ambassador about our mission. It was a success, if you ask me. We then level up to level 16 and get the perk Finesse, which gives more critical strike, the equivalent of 5 points of luck, which is absurd and absolutely ridiculously powerful, especially for us being a melee build. We are then sent to go see Colonel Moore, who is the commanding officer at Hoover Dam. Our first mission she gives us is to obliterate the Great Khans, so we arrive at the Great Khan's campsite and we do a few chores to resolve this peacefully. But unfortunately this quest bugged out and it's not going too well. So what you're meant to do is get the 4 Khan commanders on side and leave Papa Khan hanging and suggest an alliance with Colonel Moore. Then you have to kill Papa Khan and talk to Rageous about helping the NCR. But since I talked to Rageous first about helping the NCR, it's not an option. So we do the only thing that's reasonable. We obliterate every single Great Khan from the face of this camp, even the non-hostile ones, to make sure they'll be dealt with. Our next mission from Colonel Moore concerns one of the 3 casinos, the Emerters, the adult entertainment casino. We go to the casino and simply decide not to hand in our weapons. Since our hydraulic punches are much too fun and too effective, we go for round 2 with Genocide. We just keep taking them down left, right and centre. It's easy pickings and we level up in the scuffle as well. We grab Paralysing Palm as our perk, which lets us paralyse targets without unarmed attacks and VATs. This is very, very overpowered in this game. It effectively takes someone out the fight and then you can stomp on them in VATs if they're on the floor. It does 4 times the damage if you stomp on someone. Yep, you heard that right, times 4 damage. And Finesse lets us critically strike them a lot easier, so it's pretty easy to pull off, honestly. Anyway, with the casino staff redecorating the casino, we report back and get our next mission from Colonel Moore. We now have Mr. House up on our list, and our fully upgraded POWERFIST is ready, but we don't want to fight him just yet. We want to get something from him first, so we go up to his penthouse, where Jane, Mr. House's girlfriend, which is kind of creepy honestly, informs us about snow globes. I'll probably cover these in more detail in another video, but they give a lollicaps. We then meet the man himself, and whilst Mr. House is kind of annoying, we give him the chip, and he invites us to the bunker to show us the new and improved upgraded MK2 model Securitrons. That wasn't a tongue twister at all. Anyway, we go to Mr. House. He's installed the upgrades, and he installs them on every single Securitron in New Vegas, which is excellent. However, we now have to kill Mr. House, which is actually really, really easy. We knock out his droids very quickly and enter his secret room. With a couple more droids to go, we go to his control room. In the control room, we find a console and a cryogenic tube. Up in the cryogenic tube, we see Mr. House, and we wake Mr. House up and get him out the tube with the console, and we say we work for the NCR. He is not too happy with this, and then we sterilize him to... Okay, moving on. With Mr. House dead, we get to Yes Man to take his place, and being we're the only ones having access to the Lucky 38, we pretty much get access to all of the Securitron MK2s. We quickly report to Colonel Moore and let her know Mr. House isn't a problem, and she doesn't need to know about our private army. No, definitely not, no. Anyway, we report back to Colonel Moore, and she then gives us another mission. This time we need to deal with the Brotherhood of Steel. She says they need to be destroyed and removed from New Vegas. If you're unsure who the Brotherhood of Steel are, they are an elite military group, and they have an absolute obsession with technology, and they are extremely tough. So I'd rather not go and punch them. They'll more than likely kill us in a few shots. Anyway, we walk into the bunker, and the Brotherhood have some guards, and we're told to strip off into our underwear. Since these guys have massive guns and big pieces of power armor, we'll do as they say. We're then escorted to the Elder, who is the leader of the bunker, in our underwear of all things, and we're tasked with killing an NCR Ranger and have a explosive collar strapped to us. Or what can I say, these guys are hardcore and know how to get the job done, especially in the Fallout. We talk to the NCR Ranger and deceive him into leaving without any bloodshed, because we're part of the NCR and we don't really want to kill our own. We report back, and the Elder is happy with our progress, and he now has a Bella Tune with us. Probably because we're in our armour for a change in front of him and not in our underwear. He says we can come and go as we please, but wants us to help get some holotapes, which is easily done. We go for holotape 1, 2, and 3. We report back, and he now wants us to find 3 scouts on patrol. Pretty much the same thing. So we go 1, 2, and 3 again. We report back, and now he says we need to repair the airflow at the bunker. So we go to Senior Knight Lorenzo, and he gives us the details of the mission we need to go to. 3 different vaults, just like before, but with a bit more exploring and grabbing stuff. First is Vault 11. Pretty easy, as it's just overrun with insects and mutated rats, with the occasional creepy crawly. With our POWERFIST, we pretty much one-shot them and destroy them no problem. We then go into a flooded part of the bunker and have to swim to one of the lockers to get one of the components we need. We open the locker, get the piece, that's 1 vault down, 2 to go. Next up is Vault 22. This vault is overgrown and has plant life everywhere. The sign says that the plants kill, and being Fallout, that's probably true. Like before, we have insects, and this time we have humanoid plants attacking us, but we have a hydraulic fist and punch them in the face or head, I guess. We find the keycard to unlock the door we need to pass through, and finally get the cartridge we need. So that's 2 items checked off the list. Lastly is Vault 3, where the Fiend Gang used to hang out. We did a side quest earlier for the NCR that gave us the Ranger Safehouse key, and we simply walk in and walk to the throne room, go in the locker, and done. That was actually really easy. We report back to Knight Lorenzo, who's amazed, and we go to the Elder to tell him the good news. We level up to level 20 and max out our unarmed skill to level 100. We go for the solar powered perk, which heals us if it's light outside. It also stacks with our healing implant as well. That will save on lots of healing items. We then get an offer the NCR can't refuse. A truce with the Brotherhood, which is absolutely amazing. Not a single drop of Brotherhood of Steel blood was spilt either. We go back and Colonel Moore doesn't believe us when there's, like, a paladin right here, Colonel Moore. Come on, be nice to the Brotherhood. They have lots of firepower. They're our friends now. Our next orders are to do a security mission and protect the President himself. So we report into Ranger Grant and we start the mission. We then meet on the observation deck and the President Würzburg comes into view. This part I'll admit took some figuring out through trial and error, but we got there in the end. First thing we need to do is we need to get to the Würzburg, and to do that we need to get an engineered jumpsuit. The game doesn't really tell you this, but once you get it, it's pretty straightforward. We go to the Würzburg and there's a bomb on board. That's assassination attempt 1 checked off. Second is a ranger in the background, probably the most straightforward of the assassination attempts. You can see that a ranger gets thrown off the tower, so we get up there and prevent the second attempt on the President's life by taking out the sniper. And lastly, we report back to Ranger Grant and end the speech early. You can stop the third attempt where an engineer runs at President Kimball with a knife, but it doesn't really make a difference. But this was a lot of fun and changed up the gameplay a little, so thank you very much, Fallout. Afterwards, Colonel Moore states this was a poor idea from the start and that we have a meeting with General Oliver himself. The game states there's no going back if we accept this quest and that we're locked in, so without further ado, we go into our final mission. We meet with General Lee Oliver and he wants us to assault the enemy fortress, but we get a report and the Legion beats us to it. They do a preemptive strike on the dam and set up a forward base on the other side. We could begin by taking out squads of Legion with our high unarmed skill and fellow NCR soldiers. We are creaming them good and proper. We go room by room until we get to the visitor center. We go outside and solar power and our healing implant save us on healing items, which I forgot to stock up on, by the way. Well done me. Anyway, as we make our way up the dam, the sound of screeching is heard and we see our friend with a fucking bomber raining a payload. This is probably the coolest thing in the game, period. We then make our way through the checkpoint and General Oliver came through and sent an NCR veteran ranger squad to help us out. Thank you so much, General Oliver. You are so awesome. Needless to say, Alpha Squad clear house and destroy anyone with so much as a glance, easily letting us get in the camp. The camp has a few Praetorian guards who primarily use similar weapons to us but Bella. We have a fully upgraded Power Fist, but these guys carry Ballistic Fists, a powerful unarmed weapon with a shotgun attachment to it, and it can do heavy damage. So we use VATS and defeat these guys one by one, but we take heavy damage in the process. We reload our save a few times, but eventually take them all out. Ballistic Fists hurt a hell of a lot, folks. We go up the steps and come face to face with the Legate himself. We go toe to toe with the Legate and he hits us really hard, but with some decent blocking, well-timed hits and our paralyze and palm going off, we then stomp on him with our VATS and we kill him. Now we just have to deal with his squad who, let's be honest, at this point are a joke as we just destroyed their legendary leader. All we've got to do once we beat them is make it out alive and fall back. And General Lee Oliver makes a badass entrance like the amazing guy he is. And with that, we win the run and get the NCR ending, answering the question, yes, you can beat Fallout New Vegas with only a Power Fist as a weapon. Well, that was a lot of fun. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect, but at times it got challenging, especially when we had multiple ranged weapons pointed at us. But being the first Fallout challenge, it was definitely a lot of fun. And, you know, the fact you can just hydraulic punch your way through this game is absolutely awesome. But when we upgraded our Power Fist, that was definitely the turning point in the run. But let me know what you guys think. I've already got the next challenge underway, which will be, can we beat Fallout 4 in nothing but T45 power armor? No weapons, no nothing, just the armor. So if you liked what you see, stay tuned and like the video, comment down below even if you just want to say hi. And most of all, thank you very much for watching. You guys are awesome, and I hope to see you in the next video. This is Insane Frames signing out, guys. Bye bye for now, and thank you.